box office right now. So in the top spot, it was Flash with 55.1 million. Second was Elemental with 29.5 million. Third place, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 27.8 million. Transformers Rise of the Beast with 20 million. And The Little Mermaid with 11.6 million. So I presume you're going to talk about the first two, whether it hit your expectations or not. So jump into it.
Well, I'll cover all of them really. Everything here fell under projections, not just by myself, but by a majority of the industry. You know, Flash, it opened up with, in terms of tracking, you know, above 70 million. And that everyone thought that was a lowball figure. At least industry insiders thought it was they were lowballing it with the tracking there. So yeah, this is kind of a disaster. I think it had about $220 million budget and it opened to around 130 million worldwide. So it's a really soft opening and it has a B cinema score. So don't expect much leaks from it alongside massive competition coming in future weeks and all the competition that exists right now. I think Flash will finish around like 120 million domestically and around 350 million worldwide. It's tough, yeah. But you know, it's the dying of the DCEU. Obviously the comments from Tom Cruise, from James Gunn, David Zaslav, saying it's one of the best ever. Yeah, it just wasn't. Nice try, but the casual movie-going audience, they're honest. B cinema score, not that good. Too much. We're going to get into the visual effects, of course, later, but from a lot of the comments that I'm reading on Twitter, there's a lot of hatred towards this movie, a lot of dislike. Obviously, the Ezra Miller stuff that plays a part in this. But yeah, they try to run the marketing on early fan screenings of people saying it's amazing, and then it fell flat. Yeah. It wasn't. So don't expect this to do much at the box office. It's not going to be a big hit. As for Elemental, again, just another really bad one. Worst opening in Pixar history. This is not good. $200 million budget. I don't know what it did worldwide, but yeah, okay, the worldwide is 15 million as well. So 15 million. So it's about 48. But Pixar usually has staggered openings when it comes to rolling it out internationally. So don't expect a complete picture just yet. You can expect Elemental to have more of a leggier run. Its only direct competition is Spider-Verse in terms of, you know, a family film, if that, and animated. Its next competition is Barbie, maybe. I mean, the Barbie trailer played in front of Elemental when I saw it the second time. So
did it?
Yeah. And Barbie's a kid's toy, obviously. So that's probably its only like competition in terms of getting the younger audience to come through.
Yeah.
So it can leg it out for a good run. It got an A cinema score, so you can expect a good long run for this. I'd say it might even be near Flash's total figure domestically at the 120 domestic mark. Could leg it up towards that, but the 100 million mark maybe in reach. We'll have to see. As for internationally, I don't think it's going to do too much. Both movies here have made a loss for their respective studios. It is just, it's very disappointing. I think what you're seeing from this weekend is that all these movies are just cannibalizing each other. Like, there's not enough screens. There's not enough people. Like, it's just like you got like 4 movies over 20 million here, and they're just eating at each other. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that's still hot. The word of mouth is insane for that movie. Me and you both know that. If there was barely any competition, this would be dropping at least like 30 to 40%, not 50% like we've seen. So it's sad to see that. But you know, it's sitting at 280 million right now in terms of the domestic gross. It's about 490 worldwide. So regardless, it's still very positive because it's $100 million budget, you know. So it's made some really nice profit there. I expect this to continue to have a really long run despite Elemental in its way. How it's only like 2 million apart, and it's its third weekend for Spider-Verse. That's crazy. Yeah, that's so good. It's just showing the effect of like Spider-Man and good quality film as well. Transformers, it dropped 67%. I've said it before in this podcast. I've said it on MovieGames.com where I cover box office. It's like Fast X. They just drop like rocks. Like, they have a good opening weekend and they're done. So
much.
you can't look at it 60 million opening weekend and be like, oh my gosh, box office hit. No, you got to wait for the second weekend. And we're seeing that now, but it hit 100 million. It's fine. Still going to lose money because it's about $180 to $200 million budget. And worldwide, it is doing okay. It's about 227, but with that kind of budget, you need at least 450 to 500 million to make a profit or make a return on it. So I don't see it getting that, especially with China the way it is. And yeah, Little Mermaid, it fell 50%. Bit steeper than the last 2 weekends, but it's good. It can withstand some competition there. It's good counter programming for all the other stuff there. What do you think of these results?
Yeah, surprising. I think before the weekend or early in the week, I read that how the projections for Flash was around the 100 plus mark.
That was forecasting by Box Office Pro, and that came out before actual tracking, like the official tracking. Yeah.
Well, I only saw that over the weekend, so
yeah.
So yeah, I was really shocked at how low that is. I think it's lower than Black Adam's.
Yes, that's a
weekend,
big surprise.
which is a shame because this movie is way better than Black Adam, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say it's somewhere on par. They're on the same
par.
field, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, the hierarchy definitely did not change. But yeah, I was low key expecting this to have around about that 60 mark realistically.
At least, yeah.
At least, yeah. Just goes to show no one cares about DCU, and maybe the Ezra Miller problem or had an effect on this where people don't want to watch their content. Should probably have Warner Brothers worried about when Aquaman comes out with Amber Heard and how they're going to do that.
Interesting, yeah.
Because we could see, if not similar but worse results when that comes out. Blue Beetle, I feel he's too niche of a character for people to actually go out and see unless it's like,
Oh, absolutely.
unless it's like Guardians on sort of level where it's just so unexpected and
Great,
good and fantastic where everyone just goes to see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably a good thing the DCEU is dying.
It's about time.
Yeah, because clearly like these box office results goes to show why. Elemental, I think that surprised me the most out of this weekend.
Being that low?
Yeah, that low. I was expecting at least like
lowest in Pixar history.
Exactly. And Pixar has some pretty terrible films as well. In their, exactly, and somehow lost to Lightyear.
Yeah.
Even with Onward as well, like that's not a good Pixar film, and that like this to still get lower than that. Yeah. I think the reason for this would have to be the critic reviews and stuff like that.
I do think part of it's the marketing. I mean, just think about yourself as like an observer. You didn't really see much of this movie.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah, if we weren't involved in movies as much as we are, we wouldn't really have much knowledge that this is coming out. I think the marketing's been awful. And as we said in the review, like the concept's just way too familiar in so many different like areas that it's like you feel like you've seen it before.
Yeah.
Until you actually see the movie and you're like, oh, it's actually quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. Spider-Verse, I think that's because Indiana Jones comes out this week.
No, it comes out next week.
I think Spider-Verse could take the top spot. Because I'm expecting a huge drop for The Flash.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting.
And Elemental is definitely going to drop. I mean, there's only like less than 2 million difference.
It's going to be a very interesting weekend because No Hard Feelings comes out, the Jennifer Lawrence rom-com movie. That could make a play to win the weekend. I think it'll open around between 15 and 20 million. If Spider-Man drops to 50% again, then that's like 14 million, 13 to 14 million. I think it'll stabilize much better next weekend. But yeah, there's like at least 4 contenders who could win next weekend. Elemental could still be in play.
Oh, could be. Guess we'll have to wait and see how things play out next week.
Should be good.
Should be good.
Yeah.